All right. We've made it. We're here at Spa. I'm working on it. Okay, I got cameras at least. All right. We're ready to go. Welcome to What's Next, the future on P1's presentation of Monday night coverage of the Indy NXT Series. We had the present with Indy Open. We had the past with Lotus 79s at New Hampshire with the Onyx League. And tonight, we're going to round out our coverage with Indy NXT here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the first of our 4 international rounds in this inaugural season of Indy NXT here on iRacing, broadcasted live to you on P1 Broadcasting. Couple logistical things to get out the way here. If you do enjoy our coverage, we do have a GoFundMe link in the description, so please do donate if you have the means and would like to do so. If you want to support our coverage monetarily, we very much appreciate it. I believe we're just getting into qualifying now, so we'll get the ticker up here to get an idea of who's setting times. Ooh, not that one. I want this one, I think. There we go. Get that on the screen here. Do let me know if anything looks off here. Believe we're working our way through qualifying now. We'll find ourselves a car to hop on board with here. Let's hit up Ty Keela. Ty Keela here in his Rogue Racing machine. I've got to get my trading paints out. I think he's got a Lucky Charms car we're supposed to be seeing here, so we'll get that sorted. Apologies for the delay here. I was loading into the session, and then I got a black screen that said my computer has done the crash of death. So there we go. Lucky Charms. Kid cereal. Get in the cockpit cam for Mr. Keela here. Cockpit. There we are. Riding on board through the back half of this track here at Spa. Forgive me, I don't know the corner names by heart. So we're going to be going around the track here. I believe one of these later ones is Blanchimont at some point. Somewhere back in here. Into this last chicane here. And I believe we're on the config where the start-finish line is going to be on this stretch of road right here. There's the flag man, one of them. There's another one there. I forget where the start-finish line is on this one. It's one of those two. Surely there's a flagman there. Ty Keela hits us with a 205.6. Currently P3 on the board. Chris Wett's certainly currently sitting provisionally on pole with a 2-minute 5.2. It's going to be a quick race here tonight, relatively speaking. We got ourselves a 10-lap event here tonight. iRacing is kind of gauging this series at a 20 to 25-minute race, particularly on the road courses, sands, yellows, which is guaranteed given we do not have full course yellows on the road courses. We've seen a number of familiar faces here tonight. We got couple of Luke Mansky racing cars and Logan Edwards and Caleb Brashear here tonight. We got Ty Keela, who we're riding on board with here through qualifying, alongside Jacob Oster in our number 1 car here tonight. Top of the field. I believe it was just over 3,000 strength of field on this series, so not the craziest we've seen so far between even just the road series so far this season. I believe that honor still might go to Laguna Seca for that. It's good to see it. Nice, healthy field. I think we saw over 100 cars registered for this split here tonight. So a lot of people looking forward to this particular event here at Spa. We do have 3 more international rounds this season. That'll be the Red Bull Ring, Alton Park, and Suzuka. Forget exactly which weeks all of those are, but I believe the one at Red Bull Ring is in week 6, week 5 or 6, I believe. We see Alex Donka shoot up to the top with a 2-minute 4.9. Ty rounds out that chicane here. Heading to the line. And that'll be his qualifying effort done. He currently sits 6th on the timing sheet. See if we can find another car to ride around with here. If we're just going to have to stare at this beautiful track here in Belgium. Nice forest surrounding us here. See Seb Alexander still out on track maybe. He's sitting in the pit lane. That is a no. So we'll hop on over to a... All right. And that will get us to the grid, in which we've got no times there. We want times. Alex Donka will be on the pole here tonight with a 2-minute 4:9:06. Alongside him, the Luke Mansky Racing Machine of Logan Edwards. Max Allen will start 3rd in his number 19 car. Chris Wetz to his outside in P4. Seb Alexander will line up 5th in his IAR machine alongside Ty Keela in 6th. We've got Jeremy M.D. McGrory lining up 7th. Caleb Brashear in 8th. Jaco Cusmano in 9th. And Sebastian Schreiber will be rounding out your top 10. Brendan Fick will be 11th. Bruno Abrantes will be 12th. Griffin Orman will be 13th, with Bo Shabetka and Christopher Tarhan in 15th. Jacob Oster 16th. Tyler Bird will be 17th. Ian Baker 18th. Zach Willie Falm in 19th. Tyler Langenberg will be 20th, and Arturo Amro will be 21st. And shotgun on the field. Those last 2 cars of Langenberg and Amro opting not to take time. We will get the starting grid off the screen and get ourselves a pile on here. As we see these cars grid up, it is a shortened pace lap here at Spa. Kyle Glenworth's calling row 3 the top rope with Alexander and Keela. There's an outside shot, especially heading into that first corner at, I believe is it La Source? The La Source hairpin? Am I mistaken? Somebody could correct me. I'd greatly appreciate it, because I am not terribly familiar with many corners at this rather grandiose facility that typically hosts the Belgian Grand Prix in Formula 1 and the Spa 24. A GT3 race. Also known as the vanilla ice cream of iRacing, in my opinion. Take it as you will. Remember, you might think vanilla is the best, but vanilla is not for everyone. Much like the World of Warcraft that came before it. Or I guess before iRacing. See if we can get a wider TV shot here. Wider. There we go. That's more like it. We'll get a couple more cars here in shot. As Alex Donka in his 21 car leads the field to green. Lowest I-rated car in the field. He's making the most of his pole position here. We'll see him control the field to green here. Race will go by in the blink of an eye with as fast as these cars will be traveling. We'll be sure to catch as much of this opening action as we head down the front straightaway here at Spa. Donka is off.
Green flag, green flag.
Big jump for Alex Donka off the hairpin there, or the chicane there. Max Allen right in tow behind him after starting 3rd. Through La Source. Seems to be clean throughout the field. We're mostly single file. Head up All Rouge and Radillon. I'm not sure in which order at this point. Head down this long Kemmel straight. No push to pass here on the opening lap, so it's going to be all draft speed here down this long straightaway heading into this next chicane. Kept clean and tidy through a good portion of the field here. You love to see it. See if maybe we can hop on board with Logan Edwards running in that third spot. See if he tries to navigate through this course here tonight. Get out the gaps between each car here just to kind of get an idea of where the battles are propagating. Seems like Logan Edwards is the lead of the first kind of train of cars. As we see Wetz make a move to the inside on him here. That's going to move him up to third. Seb Alexander's going to take a look and make his way by here. Costly mistake heading through that double right-hander for Edwards, going a little bit wide. We'll see if he can get back into it. Ty Keeler riding along right behind Logan Edwards here. Big moment out of the hairpin there. Not sure if any contact was potentially made from behind. We'll have to see. Move out to an outboard camera here again. We got Ty Keeler looking to the inside. It's possible the two cars touched coming off the corner there. Unsure. We'll ride outboard with Logan Edwards here as he attempts to chase down some of these cars ahead of him. This still looks to be about the closest battle we have on track. Donka's out to about a 0.6 of a second lead. See Ty Keeler shoot to the inside here, fend off Edwards down the Kemmel straight here into this chicane. So Donka leads over Max Allen in second. We've got Chris Wetz in third, Seb Alexander fourth, Ty Keeler and Logan Edwards, who you see all on your screen here. Edwards looking, trying to make that move back around Ty Keeler. Caleb Brashear and the other Luke Mansky Racing Machine runs 7th. Sebastian Schreiber in 8th. Brendan Fick in 9th. And Griffin Orman will round out your top 10 thus far. A lot of cars running wide there into the gravel. Big lockup on the two machine of Edwards, heading into that double right-hander again. That must be a really tough corner to get these cars kind of slowed up and turned in for, as we see Brashear off in the gravel, Schreiber off in the gravel behind him. These drivers are using every inch of track here around Spa. Try to make up all the time they got as we got Schreiber looking on Edwards. Or is that Brashear? That's Brashear. That's Brashear. We'll see if Schreiber makes a move here. He keeps looking to the inside here, heading into this final chicane. Brashear holds the spot. We've got Edwards on Ty Keeler. Ty Keeler runs a little wide on the exit of the hairpin, or the chicane there. Hairpins and chicanes. They're all starting to blur together for me. Keeler leads this train. Alexander just ahead in his plain white IAR machine. See if we can hop back maybe towards Jacob Oster running 14th. He's slowly making a move here on Tyler Bird in his i5G. Oh! Big crash!
Ed.
Oop. I am causing all sorts of problems. I forgot to turn my voice chat off. Get that out of the way here. Yeah, someone needs to call the ambulance on that one. That looked like a hard hit for Jacob Oster into that outside wall. We'll catch back up with Ty Keeler, who we were watching just before. He remains in 5th. We picked the wrong time. We picked the wrong time to pan to the Oster car. That's really unfortunate for Jacob Oster. He's having a solid run trying to work his way through the field after starting fairly deep in the field here tonight. Alex Donka now out to a 1.2 second lead over Max Allen in second. Tequila runs wide here. Edwards goes by. Brashear's likely going to go by as well. We'll see if Sebastian Schreiber opts to make a move heading down into this last chicane here. Tequila opts to take the tight line around. Schreiber looking to the outside. Will turn to the inside in the second corner here. Side by side. Almost a wheel bang there. Schreiber will take that spot from Keela. That double right-hander seems to be catching out a number of these midfield runners out quite heavily. We'll see if that continues to remain the case as this race continues. So Tequila down to 8th. Brandon Fick runs 9th, and Bo Shebetka is running 10th. And you've got Griffin Orman in 11th, who we'll hop back to here. Followed by JD MD McRory. Good to see him back out here for another week of top split Indy NXT action. Bruno Abrantes and Tyler Langenberg rounds out this train of vehicles. And his, I believe that's a Marlboro Penske or, oh, McRory around. Man, I really am just picking the wrong cars to hop to. That'll drop him down the order. We've still got, oh, we got another car off here. That's Shebetka running 10th. We'll hop up to the battle for second with Chris Wetz and Max Allen for the bottom two steps of the podium here. They're a little bit off of Alex Donka ahead as he stretches to a little over a 1 second lead. We're almost getting to halfway. We're going on to lap 5 here pretty soon. Tequila, I see, moves up to, oh no, Tequila's going backwards. We'll have to see what happened to him. He might have back it up here. See, yeah, wide in that double right again for Tequila, and he gets passed by another 2 cars. Back with him. Hop back up to that battle for third. Oh, Wetz real loose off the chicane there. I think we're just busting out the broadcaster curse. Oh, is that Edwards? Edwards deep into the LaSource hairpin there. Seb Alexander is going to be looking on Chris Wetz here, heading down the Kemmel Straight. Long straightaway. I imagine a decent bit of push-to-pass usage here. In talking with some of the drivers preliminarily before this race happened, a lot of them were thinking that because of how long the straightaways are, you were going to have to really prioritize when to use that push-to-pass as we see Wetz getting loose all over the race course here ahead of Alexander. Because out of the hairpin all the way down the Kemmel was bigger than one charge of push-to-pass from what I recall, as we see Wetz and Alexander go a bit wide there, touching the gravel. But as I was saying, the push-to-pass charge is too long to hold it from the exit of the hairpin all the way down, up the hill and down that straight. So you're going to have to kind of prioritize when to get on that button. There is a good number of sizable straightaways here at Spa, making that even more difficult. I imagine it still turns into wanting to get on it for a couple seconds out of as many corners as you can and maybe trying to save a little bit more for that exit out of that LaSource hairpin at the opening part of the lap to get a good run heading up the hill and down the Kemmel. Alex Donka remains at a little over a second lead over Max Allen in second. They're putting on a great heck of a show, being some of the lower I-rated drivers in this field, but I think that's part of what's been nice to see in this next class of car. It's fresh for everybody, so regardless of your skill level, if you can figure it out and put it together, put your car near the front, put it in contention, you've got a lot you can fight for here. As we see Wetz goes a bit wide here. Alexander's right there, ready to make a move. We'll see if he's got anything heading down the hill, up through towards the Kemmel Straight. We got a train of 3 cars: Wetz, Alexander, Edwards. Alexander's going to take a look to the inside. He's ahead. Move Alexander up to 3rd. We'll see if Chris Wetz can hold off Logan Edwards. He's been struggling through a lot of these corners trying to get that throttle put down. It's a slick-looking paint scheme on Wetz's car. I'm not quite sure what's on there, but it's a nice-looking machine here. I believe I see Tasman something on there. See if we can get a better look at that scheme for Wetz, as we've been riding on board with him for a while. Well, not on board, but on his car. Let's see. Do I have a camera for that? Don't think I do. Let's see, maybe we get a tighter TV camera on him and that do the trick. Not quite. All right. Go back to where we were before. We'll hop back to Logan Edwards here again. Get on board with him. See how maybe he's managing the push to pass here. We don't see him on the button right now. He's currently riding along behind Wetz into this chicane here to round out the lap. Alexander locks up. Wetz locks up a little bit. Edwards is trying to find a way through. Wetz to the outside of Alexander. Alexander holds on to it for now. We'll watch an onboard lap here through Logan Edwards. Alexander getting way out there. Bit loose on the gas there, and Wetz is going to look to the left side here coming up the hill. We'll be riding right behind it. Alexander gets back ahead, though. Looks like a really slippery time in that first right up the hill here. No button right now. There might have been a little bit on the exit of the corner there. Alexander's committed to the button. He's trying to stay ahead here. Wetz is there. Alexander's around. You hate to see it. Likely a bit of net code, as it looked like there might have still been a gap there, but around will go Alexander, and he'll drop steadily down the order here. Wetz locks up. We see Edwards still here. This is the battle for the final step of the podium. Now the gap at the front has come down a bit. We'll hop on board with that battle at the conclusion of this lap, but Max Allen's now got a 6/10 gap ahead of him to make up on Alex Donka to try to take the lead of this race. We'll see if that comes to fruition before this one wraps up. We stay on board with Edwards. This tricky double right that we've seen catch out a number of drivers here tonight. Wetz gets a great exit. Bit of a bobble for both cars. I think Edwards topped it to get a little tighter there. Saw a bit of push to pass usage from Edwards through those corners. That seems to be a decent spot, and maybe that's part of the thing, is they're getting more power, more push to pass. Seems to be, yep, he's splitting it out down the straights, trying to get a little bit extra. Try to keep with Wetz here. Hold off his teammate Caleb Brashear behind him. About a half second back behind him. We're going to hop up to Max Allen, trying to chase down Alex Donka for the lead of this race. Get to an outboard camera here. About a half second, 6/10 of a second, the gap between Donka and Allen here. While we ride here, I'm going to try to recap the rest of our coverage here on P1 this week. See if I can figure out what all we've got going on the rest of this week. So tomorrow night will be the IndyCar Oval Series top split live from the Texas Motor Speedway at 8:15 Eastern Time, followed up by the Indy NXT Oval Series at, I believe, 9:30 Eastern Time tomorrow night, both from the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll see Wednesday night will be the Horizon IndyCar Series, their 9th round from Road America, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll have Thursday night will be the AMA Xfinity Series live from the Charlotte Roval for their 29th round on the season. They do a full season over there in the AMA. That'll start at 8:30 Eastern Time. I'm looking at Central. I have to read it out an hour ahead. Friday night, the AMA Truck Series will also take on the Charlotte Roval at 8:30 Eastern Friday night. And then we don't have anything Saturday. Sunday will be Dark Horse Championship Sunday, October 5th, I believe, from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the DW12s. And then we're back to Monday night next week, where we'll have a triple header worth of coverage between the IndyCar Open Series live from Phoenix, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Onyx Lotus 49 Series from Legacy, Michigan at 9:05 Eastern. And the Indy NXT Series will take on VIR with a chance of rain at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We see Max Allen here still just under 0.6 of a second, separating himself and Donka, as I believe Logan Edwards has made it by Chris Wetz through the LaSource hairpin. We'll hop back to that battle now. Actually, we're going to stay with the leader as Max Allen has closed the gap down to 0.3 down the Kemmel. We'll see if there's anything he can do. He's looking back. He thinks better of it in his 7-11 scheme here tonight, following that McLaren scheme ahead of Alex Donka. They're putting on quite a fight here at the front of the field. Get laps to go here because we're down to 2 laps. I believe we'll be coming to 1 to go this time. We're going to stay here with the lead battle to see if Max Allen can do anything for a dominant Alex Donka, who has led every lap, I believe, thus far. Still working towards this chicane to round out the lap here. Gap is the closest it's been all night, just under 5 or just over 4/10 across the line. We'll see if that gets any smaller as we're coming around for the final lap this time. This one ends it. Who's going to lead the last lap here in our first international round here in Indy NXT? Wetz is back by Edwards for third. We'll hop back to that. They're side by side. Edwards. Wetz. Edwards holds on to it. Heck of a fight through that chicane between the both of them as Caleb Brashear watches on. That other Luke Mansky machine ready to pounce. We'll hop back up to our leader here and Alex Donka as they come through that heavy left-hander carousel into the double right, or this is a single right. This is the single right into a left. There we go. Close battle still here between Donka and Allen any little mistake down heading towards the last chicane. Who's going to have the push to pass to make it happen? Allen's on the button. Donka is not. 5 seconds for Allen, 6 for Donka. Allen's going to stay in tow here. We'll see if he can get the exit here. Oh, around goes Allen. We'll see if he can hold on to second here, or if the rest of the field's going to pass him here. He's going to try it in reverse. Brashear will finish second. Wetz will be third. Max Allen will finish fourth in reverse. We'll have to go back and see what happened with Logan Edwards, as he may have fallen back there late in the going. Yeah, Edwards goes around coming through that last chicane. I don't know if he got help. We'll see. Back this up just a little bit more. We'll hop on the Logan Edwards Luke Bansky racing machine. No, I think he just caught the curb and looped it, and Brashear kind of backed into Wetz because Wetz checked up, and Brashear was able to make the run down the line, and that completely changes that podium picture with Allen getting spun off that final corner all on his own. What a finish. That was quite the final corner there here at Spa. All right, let's get to our finishing lineup. That's not the finishing lineup. This one is. There we go. Alex Donko, your winner here tonight in the 21 car. He made the most of his top split appearance here tonight as the 21 car of 21 here tonight. We got Caleb Brashear in second, followed by Chris Wetz in third, Max Allen fourth, Logan Edwards in his Luke Bansky racing machine will finish fifth. Brandon Fick will be sixth. Arturo Amro will be seventh. Ty Keela in his Rogue Racing entry, the Lucky Charms car, will be eighth. Sebastian Streiber with a ninth place finish. And Jeremy M.D. McRory rounds out your top 10. Bruno Abrantes will be 11th. Jaco Cusmano will be 12th. Griffin Orman 13th. Tyler Langenberg will be 14th, the last of your lead lap runners. And Tyler Bird will round out the top 15, one lap down. Sal Alexander, we saw him make contact with Chris Wetz through that chicane at the end of the Kemmel at one point and getting spun. There might have been some additional contact that took him out of this race. Bo Shabetka in 17th. Christopher Tarhan in 18th. Jacob Oster, we saw the big crash coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion for him. He will finish 19th. Zachary Falm in 20th. And Ian Baker will round out your field in 21st tonight. Now I have to open Discord, because I did not open it yet. We'll see if we can get at least Caleb Brashear in there. We shall see if we have a Caleb Brashear. Not seeing one. I am seeing a comment from Jacob Oster remarking that Spa is a stupid track. We should be racing American tracks like Mid-Ohio or Barber or Road America. That's fair. I decently agree. Fortunately, most of the schedule is American tracks. Like I said, we only have the 4 international ones this season. I don't think we're gonna get podium interviews. Anybody want to come out? Okay, we got Flow City Brashear. Now, Caleb, I've got you up here, but I got to queue up a replay to get your car on the screen. That was quite the final lap for you. If you want to talk through it while I get that camera situation figured out, go ahead.
Well, to be honest, I thought the rears were cooked at that point, going through the first part of the lap, and then, we got a little bit closer, coming up to that final chicane. I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it'd be really funny if, even though it's my teammate, I love you, Logan, but if he somehow just, went a little bit wide and I just swoop in there to get the podium, and it didn't go the most ideal way. Logan spun on himself, and then I kind of just ran Chris over, to be honest. And then I get by Chris, and all of a sudden I see a car backwards. I'm like, that's not one of the leaders, is it? And then I come across the line second. It was like, huh. That was an interesting last 5 seconds of the race. And that just kind of played out how that entire race went. I mean, I think I started 8th or ninth, and I felt like I didn't have like any real overtakes. Most of them was just survival of the fittest. But all in all, I mean, second place, can't complain too much about it. Obviously, Logan probably should have had a podium over me, but he got one in the open. So each of us got a podium tonight. So I'll take that for the team. So.
Yeah, we saw a lot of cars having trouble, especially through the double right-hander complex, just kind of catching the gravel, going a little bit wide. Was it maybe just people trying to ask a bit too much of the tires at different points on the track, or was there a bit more to it? Maybe some push to pass in play that was causing it to be a lot trickier to get through some of those corners, especially with other cars around you.
Yeah, the tires definitely started to give way towards the end there. Like you're battling both oversteer on the exits, understeer on entries. It felt like the tires kind of gave away really fast. Even though I'm looking at my garage, it says right front's only at 87, which it almost felt like it was at like 78 over a course of 10 laps. But the tires here just, and honestly with the entire NXT car, it just feels like they just kind of give way to where you're fighting both oversteer and understeer at the same time towards the end of a run. And I thought the push to pass here would be more effective, and it really felt like it didn't do anything, to be completely honest, unless you were like right on someone's bumper. So you just kind of had to play, the tires to your advantage a little bit. And I felt like I saved mine a little bit in early stint. I know, I was getting catched, like it was like lap 4 or 5. I was getting caught by Ty, Sebastian, and Fick there at the end, or towards the middle of it. But then I started to drive away from them. But I feel like that's how you had to play tires over push to pass a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's been interesting to see, just how the tires fall off really, really dramatically, and then you're kind of fighting a car that wants to do two different things at the same time. But that also kind of teaches you a lot about car control, and that's certainly something that I would imagine kind of translates as you work your way up the ladder further and further up to that IndyCar, especially on tracks maybe like a Barber with a lot of downforce going on, but you still got to manage those tires really, really well through those heavy braking zones. So hopefully that translates for guys that are kind of working their way through, trying to live out their road to Indy, or I guess the road to IndyCar dreams here on the sim. So we'll give you an opportunity to shout out your friends, family, sponsors, anybody you want to shout out. Podium finish, floor is yours.
Every race, like I said, goes out to Scott Reddick. Luke Mansky, obviously still relatively new to the team, but it seems like we're up on the up and coming 3 podiums in the last 2 weeks in the Open and Indy NXT broadcasts. So we're a new team, but we're up and coming, And obviously my 2 teammates, Logan Edwards, he got podium in Open. Will Weiser pretty much dominated Indy NXT last week at Long Beach, so he's been doing really good. Other than that, that's pretty much wraps it up.
All right, well, it's good to see you again here, Caleb, in the top split for Indy NXT. We'll hope to catch you either tomorrow night at Texas or sometime next week when we go to VIR.
Oh, no.
In the wet, potentially.
Oh, no. That's not my ideal. I have too many bad real-life memories there in the wet, unfortunately.
Well, maybe you can make a good one next week.
A little bit better. Yeah, hopefully you can make a good memory in the wet at VIR.
Yeah, maybe you just need some virtual rain pixels as opposed to some real ones. Well, have a good one, Caleb.
Really hope. Thank you.
Caleb Brashear, your P2 finisher here tonight. We're going to chuck up quick flybys for, I believe, Chris Wetz. Chris Wetz, we'll get him on the screen here for a little while in his machine. Never figured out what's on the wing of this car. Let's see if we can get a forward-facing shot of that rear wing. Try to read it, maybe. Nope, this track just keeps going away from us. All right, well, Alex Donko, your winner here tonight. We'll get the spin from Max Allen off the final corner as Donka rides off into the sunset in his Arrow McLaren livery. Quite the event here tonight in Indy NXT here at Spa. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. watching this race, catching round 3 of the inaugural Indy NXT Road Series here on iRacing. And to all the people that do the difficult jobs around the world, we do thank you. I will run a proper outro here this time. I'm not going to forget. I've done it at least once, but we'll get it right this time. And yeah, lights to flag from the pole for Donka. Dominant finish. We'll see how that continues throughout the rest of this season. Thank you. Have a good night.